Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Birdie. Welcome to my home in Norfolk. I can't wait to show you around. Come on in.
This summer, spend the hottest months of the year in style with Homeworthy as we visit the most extraordinary homes around the world. From the sun-soaked shores of the Hamptons to the classic beachfronts of Nantucket to the vibrant courtyards of Morocco, be sure to subscribe to Homeworthy's summer series to make every day feel like a vacation. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hello, my name is Birdie Fortescue. I am the founder and creative director of the homeware brand Birdie Fortescue. These are our two dogs, Nancy and Bluey, who actually belongs to my step-granddaughter, and their brother and sister. And welcome to our home in Norfolk. We bought the house about 20 years ago. We were living in Suffolk at the time and wanted a holiday house. It was a lot bigger than we had originally intended, but we completely fell in love with it. So we bought it and in fact finally moved here full-time about 15 years ago. We're close to the sea, although we're tucked inland but close to the sea, so we wanted it to have a very sort of light, airy, beachy feel. So we filled it with a lot of painted furniture in a very relaxed way. We then came to sell our house in Suffolk and we'd furnished that in a much more traditional way. So we had a lot of this more traditional brown furniture, but it was more formal. And so we incorporated that within the painted look that we'd created. So it's got a very sort of eclectic feel about it. It's got very sort of shabby pieces next door to sort of rather more formal pieces. So it's got huge character, and I think that's what sort of makes it almost. It gives it its charm. I started my interior design career in my early 20s. I began working for a company called Percy Bass in Walton Street in London. I was there for about 4 years, which was a sort of baptism of fire, really. And I was very fortunate to then move on to Colefax and Fowler, Sybil Colefax and John Fowler, where I was an assistant to Imogen Taylor, which was such an honour. And she herself was an assistant to John Fowler. So, you know, she has a wealth of knowledge, obviously, which she was so generous with. And I learnt so much. Welcome to the living area of our open plan room. This is the area that I love and feel most comfortable in. I always sit here in the evenings. We've based it around lovely coloured matting and then some sort of quite beachy rattan furniture. And then you've got the mix of sort of rather formal brown pieces and again this beachy look. So all through the house you'll see this sort of this mix of the two styles, which I think is quite fun. So the pieces that I particularly love in the room, this is a wonderful sculpture by a lady called Heather Jantz. She does a lot of full-size pieces as well. Sadly she died I think about 5 years ago, but she really is very, very well known. So I was thrilled to acquire one of those. Another piece I love is this console table, which is French, 1960s, and I just love the shape and form of it. I love the way that, you know, it doesn't sort of look like it can stand up, but it's just very textural, and then it's got this lovely marble top on it. So we have a lot of pillows, a lot of cushions, we call them, on the sofa. It's a very deep sofa, so it can take it. It seems like there are way too many, but if you have any less, you don't feel supported enough. And I love that sort of mix of different patterns and texture. You've got block print cushions, and then you've got an old Suzani, vintage Suzani. You've got some velvets, embroidered velvets. A lot of these are our collections, past and present, so they bring back happy memories. There are lots of different prints and patterns, and there's a lot going on, but as I said previously, it's the balance of colour, it's the balance of pattern. They're not fighting. None of the designs are fighting with one another. It just all seems to sort of weave into each other. These are old pieces too. This is from the house when it was more of a beach house. Lovely painted rattan, and I love the mix of the two styles. One thing I think that makes this room is these two hanging lanterns here. I bought them in France. They're absolutely enormous. They're incredibly heavy, and they're obviously modern. But we've had them painted, to look old, and they just they're so overscale, but they really make the room and give it gravitas. And then what I love in the background is the mahogany bookcase. And then above it, there are two snakes. I inherited those from my mother, who had them over a sort of rather an elaborate bed. And I couldn't think where to put them, and it seemed like a wonderful spot there. So again, you've got this rather sort of glitzy look with shabby chic, and I just like that. So this bookcase is, it's French, it's sort of late 18th century, early 19th century. It's just very simple forms, very clean. We actually bought it for our previous house, and a lot of the furniture works so well in both houses. We've decorated it with old books, lovely old books, that we had. Lovely old books, and then a wonderful dinner service, an old dinner service. This is the perfect place for them, and it just looks looks great. It brings light to the piece, and there's a wonderful juxtaposition to the dark and then the old books. And then we've spattered it with some lovely shells here, which again I found in my travels. We collect a lot of books and magazines, and my husband is a hoarder, hates throwing anything out, so they just, the collections just grow and grow. And again, I love that look. I think it gives a room great charm and depth. When we first moved here, it was, as I said, a sort of beachy house, and we wanted to fill the walls with East Anglian art. East Anglian artists' work, and I love these pieces here by an artist called Jeremy Fraser. You've got three here. They've got great movement and beautiful colours, and they're just very pleasing. And then the piece that's above the doorway here, I bought almost at the beginning of my antique days. I bought it from the back of a lorry at 7 a.m. at an antique fair, I remember, in Dijon. And it just immediately spoke to me. It's French, it's a French scene, a French landscape. You've got a lovely river running through, and it's just very peaceful. And always get compliments about, of it. I love the mix of different objects. So you've got two wonderful bronze sculptures here that my husband found. Birds, I love them. And then here you've got a seahorse that my daughter made when she was, I think, about 7 at school, which to me is just wonderful. And I love how you can mix that with quite valuable pieces, and it doesn't matter whether something's made by a child or an artist. So the house is late Georgian. There are 2 dairies which are attached to the east side, and the area between these 2 dairies has been covered. Very wonderful open plan area has been created, and it really makes the house. It's so light, and we spend our whole time here. And I would find it very, very difficult to move into a dark house now. I'm so used to this wonderful light. And it's an amazing room because you've got double doors then leading into a drawing room, and then another sitting room. And so it is the heart of the house. Everywhere sort of leads off it. So now we're in the dining area of this lovely open plan space. So as I mentioned, the sitting room and the kitchen were dairies, and this was an open plan. This was just an outside area, and the architect we bought this house from had covered the space in, and so you've got this wonderful brick and flint, which is typical to Norfolk, brick and flint work running all the way around, and then that's the red brick of the house. So it's a wonderful contrast to the painted rooms, really, and it just gives wonderful interest and fantastic light. Above the console table here, this Italian console table is a wonderful piece of modern art, in fact by my daughter, painted by my daughter, Lydia Chapman. She's a portrait painter, really. She was trained in the traditional techniques in Florence, and she's sort of creating now modern abstract landscapes, and so this is one of her first pieces. So I just love it. It's got such movement and beautiful colours, and so we were thrilled to hang it unframed in the house. I bought this dining table, this farmhouse table, again in France. It's wonderful. It's one piece of wood, which is so great, and it's very much a refectory table. It's very narrow, so you can have wonderful conversations, and it creates a wonderfully sort of relaxed atmosphere. The chairs I love. These I bought 5, I think. Again, old ones. They were Swedish, sort of 1960s, and I had them copied copied in the UK, and I just love the juxtaposition again of the painted and the wood. This table is brilliant because you can entertain in a very scruffy, relaxed way, or you can dress the table up. This table linen is a very much a favourite. This is our Bell table napkin, our Bell design, which is incredibly popular, and it comes in 3 colourways: blue, green, and red. These are lovely dinner plates, actually, by a company called Volga. These are really fun candlesticks, which we've just recently designed in collaboration with Butter Wakefield for our big collaboration that we did with her. So they're really fun. And then we have these. We have lovely jute usable placemats which come in various colours, and they're just a firm staple and very easy to use. I love this piece of furniture particularly. It's a walnut commode, 2-drawer commode. It's one of the first pieces I bought as an antique dealer. It's from Eastern France, and it's the transition period between Louis XV and XVI. It's the sort of straightening out of the line. So it's got this wonderful sort of gentle curve, but it's very restrained, and then the lovely inlay on the drawers, and it's just so pleasing, and it just sits very well. Here we are in the sitting room, which is a very, very cosy room. It's fairly dark, and so I've painted the walls in a very, very rich, striking green, which I think brings the room to life. So this room is more traditional than other rooms in the house. For instance, this sofa. This is a wonderful Colefax and Fowler print on linen. And this is a Howard sofa. So I bought this in my Colefax and Fowler days for the first flat I owned, and it's so unbelievably comfortable. And then you've got a matching armchair with this. So it's very traditional and, you know, very much of a previous period, but it's just, it's so pretty. I love it. These two mirrors are very, very special, and special to me too. They were in our dining room when I was growing up, and I inherited them from my father. They're Italian, 18th century, gilt wood, and they are, you know, they're very decorative, but again, lovely and restrained. I'm just so fond of them. This wonderful painting is attributed to Honda Cutter. I inherited it from my mother and stepfather. It very much sets the scene of the room, but again, I love the juxtaposition of these rather sort of crazy wall sconces, which I bought in France, and they're wheat sheaf. And, you know, they don't necessarily link with the painting, but they give both, I think both set each other off very well. This is a lovely card table. It's mahogany, Regency, and just the form is wonderful. Again, an inherited piece, and it just sits very, very nicely in front of the window. This is a lovely plaster greyhound that would have been used as a mould for a bronze, again found on my travels. And I love these. These are silhouettes of, these are my stepdaughters. That's my stepdaughter there, and these two are my children, and then these are my stepdaughters here, and I think they're just so lovely, and they sit very, very well. I love the cleanness of the perspex around. I love collecting lamps of different styles and different forms. So these lamps here, they're polychrome continental vases that I converted to lamps. They've got a lovely gilt base that I had made, and they just bring a lot of character, colour, and they just work so well as a lamp. This is an old floor standard lamp, which is brass, and that works very, very well. This is an old lamp, and with a fun shade. This is block printed on block printed linen laminated. So I think lighting does create huge interest, and it's lovely to have different heights, different levels, to create an ambient feel. I would consider myself a maximalist, but pared back. I like everything to be balanced. I don't like clutter for the sake of it. It's got to be balanced, whether that's through proportion, colour, pattern, furniture, whether it's through painted and wooden pieces. It's all got to be balanced. So yes, I am a maximalist, but I think that it's understated and restrained. I want people to walk into our home and feel very relaxed, and that they can totally immerse themselves wherever they happen to be, whether it's the more formal drawing room or the sitting room or wherever, and just be able to relax and, you know, appreciate the decoration and Norfolk. So walking into the kitchen area of this open plan room, we inherited the kitchen. We put an ever-hot cooker in and then extended it so that, you know, if you are working in the kitchen, it's not quite so it's a bit more private, and people who are sitting at the dining table or sitting in the sitting area don't necessarily see you so much. I've injected sort of rather formal pots in the kitchen, which is a bit crazy too, but I think they work really well and give the room some gravitas. Too many cookery books, and then this lovely mug rack here, which is great fun, full of messy mugs. And this is rather fun. This is an old terracotta vase that I found in France and had painted and that hides all the fairy liquid and other bits and bobs, which is great. I love these pieces here. I bought them from a great friend, an antique dealer friend of mine called Maddie Kingsit, and they are sort of tiered baskets, and they just look wonderful in the kitchen with vegetables. So I think they make me smile. And what's wonderful is having a window seat, and just wonderful to be able to look out into the garden. Now this is one of the dairies here, which is much lower in height. So we covered the deadlight above the window with the blind, so that you wouldn't necessarily know that that the window doesn't go up to the ceiling. And this is a wonderful favourite fabric of mine. It's a Lewis and Wood old print, which is so nice. Then this is I love the fact that you can work in the kitchen, and so this table is a great spot for me. And these are our lovely rattan chairs, which go so well, I think. And that's the kitchen, really. So we're out in the garden, leading directly out of the kitchen. So this is a wonderful area here to relax with a newspaper, a cup of coffee, and look at the wonderful views out into the garden. But the house was built quite high up, and so George Carter, who did the landscaping for us, he levelled, created levels. So we've got this area here leading down steps to the lawn down there, where we've got these wonderful trees, and then a ha-ha leading out into the fields. So it's the sort of garden is sort of amongst the landscape, which we love. And so we love coming out here to relax. And this is our garden furniture for this season. So it's been incredibly popular. We've recently won a prize, which we're very proud of, for the best garden furniture collection design. It's aluminium and painted to look like rattan. And so we have a sofa, coffee table, side tables and armchairs. It's very, very lightweight, so it can be moved in and out with great ease, or moved around with great ease, but there's no need to move it inside because it's totally weatherproof. This is our collaboration with Butter Wakefield that we've just done. We were at Chelsea Flower Show, which was so fantastic. We designed a collection with Butter, of which this was our hero print, and then we've got lovely stripes to go with it. And there's a full range on the website. We've done vases, trays, planters, and candlesticks, table runners in this wonderful print, tablecloths and napkins. So it just works so well with the collection. I think for a home to become alive, you need creatures like these, dogs, and art and objects and personality. You just want it to, have old things, new things, worn things. It doesn't really matter as long as it's got personality and character. This is our drawing room, and this is where we entertain. So if we were to have a dinner party, this is where we would all come. It's a fabulous room. It had a flat roof, a flat ceiling. We took the pitch up, and it has really helped and made it a wonderfully spacious room. And I think what really has made the room is these fabulous silk panels, Chinese panels, that again we had in our house in Suffolk. There are 3 pairs, and the colours are so soft, and it really sets the tone of the room. And I was thrilled to find this rug. This is a wonderful rug, abstract, hand-knotted rug by somebody called Gideon Hatch. And the colours just work so well with with the screens. And then we've decorated the room around it. But again, as I said, you know, the panels were from a previous house, so everything really has just arrived. And apart from cushions and possibly some lampshades, really, it just, you know, if the bones work and the proportions work from house to house, you can really move pieces around so easily. So the coffee table is, it's a Chinese piece. It's just a great piece of furniture to put interesting objects. So as normal, we've got masses of books, got lots of lovely shells. And then these are really pretty. These were my mother's. These are lovely lalique birds. It's a great place to put flowers. And then we've got some polychrome Delft vases here. And it just works really, really very well. And what's a lovely piece is this games table. So this is a trick-track table, and this one is various different woods, mahogany, walnut, some cherry wood there. And it's a games table. So on one side, you know, it's a writing table like this. And then on the other side, you've got bays for cards, and this is you know, drafts on the top, and then inside you have backgammon. It's just got such character. So they're called trick-track tables. I just think we do play, and it's just a wonderful thing to have. So this is the main hall. And it's, again, got a lovely feel. It's got two lovely hanging lights here, French, and with this lovely curved glass, which is so nice. And they're a lovely scale in the room. So again, you've got this rather sort of scruffy feel of hats on a hat stand, and then, you know, some very sort of formal art with these lovely oil paintings here. This piece is very special. This is my husband. My husband bought this. I think it's late 19th century, and it's decorated with feathers. So these are all white feathers, and then you've got lovely coloured feathers decorating the front. So that's very, very nice. And then what is so special is the staircase. It's a cantilever staircase. And I remember loving this the moment I saw it, and it goes all the way. You can see right to the second floor, and it's just very pleasing. It's just got lovely proportions, and the handrail is so attractive. The runner is a jute runner, which has a stripe in blue. And it's something we've just bought out, and I couldn't resist putting one in the hallway here. And in fact, I think we need another one for the end of the hall too. But they're very nice, very durable, and a really good weight, and the perfect look for the house. When we first came to the house, all the York stone here was covered up with horrible modern tiles. We took those up and then found these, but they've got great character and are part of the house. I think the best compliment is that anyone coming here would give is that, you know, it feels so calm. You know, there is so much going on here. There's, you know, it's full of colour and cushions and art and a great mishmash of everything, but I think that it does have a sense of calm and balance, and I think that is just very, very important, and I think that's sort of what defines my style. And you know, people come and they say, gosh, I wish my home was like this. So I think that's a compliment. Okay, let's go upstairs. Come with me. So here we are on the first floor landing, and what is so attractive about the house is these fan lights and entrances to another area. So we have and it sort of creates a little suite on it, all of its own. You've got a bedroom and a bathroom. So let me show you through. So this is our guest bedroom, which is a wonderfully light room, and it's just so pretty, and it's just wonderful waking up in the morning to this incredible view of the garden leading onto the field. As a holiday house, we chose some sort of quite daring, in those days, colours, pinks and lime greens. So this lovely fabric here, and the rug, which is a wonderful Christine van der Heerd design, which we bought many years ago. But it's wonderful, and the colours just work so well. I think this area here is so pleasing. Again, a French Louis XV table, which has writing table, which we've used as a desk, and it sits so perfectly in front of the window, with two lamps and a mirror, and it's such a lovely room. Everybody loves staying in it when they come and stay. The bed is rather wonderful. A French headboard, and a lovely hand crocheted bedspread on cotton, and then lots of lovely cushions again, which play on the pink and green, as do the lamps either side of the bed. So this is the bathroom adjoining the guest bedroom, and again the bath is situated in front of the lovely sash window, and it's such a joy having a bath here and looking out of the window. We've got a wonderful rug on the floor, which is our Namda rug. It's made in cashmere, hand chain stitch, which is rather special, and it's just such a great view out to the garden. After 5 years, I left Colefax to start dealing on my own, which was quite a frightening transformation, quite a frightening move. And so I started by sort of exhibiting on doing sort of brocantes at the likes of Kensington Town Hall, the small little antique fairs, tabletop antique fairs. And then I went to France and fell in love with a certain type of furniture. It was the sort of transition period between Louis XV and XVI. It's the sort of very much the pared back lines and the lovely pale woods, not frilly, fussy French furniture. And I was very fortunate because it took off, and it was a look that everybody loved at that particular time. So very, very exciting times, and it was wonderful. It was about 15 years of sort of full-on antique dealing, combined with a little bit of interior design. Then I moved away from it and spent time with the children, moved to Norfolk, and realised that I wanted to get back into the antique world again, not to exhibit at the antique fairs, but to have a shop in Norfolk. So I opened a shop in 2014 and soon realised that it needed much more than just antiques. It needed homeware, so I sourced other brands' homeware, and after 2 years or so, after a trip to India, I started designing my own collection of block print, table linens, cushions, etc. And it grew from there, So now we design and produce rugs, tableware, cushions, lighting, lampshades, furniture, and the 360 of interior design and homeware. So this is the master bedroom. It's very cosy, very comfortable. The pieces hanging on the wall are very special. It's an old screen, probably 8 folds or so, and there's wonderful. These are all semi-precious stones which have been cut and stuck onto board. We had so many walls to fill with paintings that came up with this idea to cut the screen up and use it in this way, which I think works very well. So you've got two either side of the armoire, and then you've got this selection here. Again, it's got a very lovely, relaxed, calm feel to it. This armoire it was touch and go to get this in here, but I think it's so overscale, but it works so well, and it gives the room great gravitas. And then moving over to the fireplace, this is a mirror of ours. Again, these are semi-precious stones. It's made by artisans in India, and to my design, and just thrilled with how it looks. It just sits so well. So that's great. And again, you've got French pieces of furniture either side. I don't like pairs of anything particularly. They need to be corresponding. The furniture needs to be corresponding. But here you've got a small commode. You've got a three drawer commode with a marble top. And what's nice is you've got a small table the other side. But they both balance well, and they're both the same height, so they work really well as a pair. This is the front of the house, so the formal entrance, where we have 6 areas of grass, which is fun, with peppered with stone balls, and a lovely fountain here, and bench and yew trees behind. So this is a fabulous spot to have lunch, and obviously, you know, it's perfect for a party. Can seat lots of people, and it leads on from the kitchen. So we love using it. We have a series of wonderful old olive jars, which punctuate the various areas of the garden, and I think look so pretty. Again, a lovely soft colour, and they work very well. So there are some lovely vistas. You know, this path here that leads onto the urn, and then out to the field, and then these lovely pleached limes, which have slightly overgrown, but they're very good looking. So this terrace is wonderful, leading from the back of the house. Again, we tend to eat out here at night. It's so peaceful, and you know, you've got the views to the field, through the trees, etc. So it's absolutely wonderful. And then we've got a wonderful village church through the trees there. That's which is so special. So there are services once a month, and so we traipse over the field through a little gate to church. I think home to me means somewhere that I can come back to after stressful days, long journeys, travels abroad, and feel totally at ease and relax, and be able to unwind and feel comfortable and be surrounded by things I love. Homeworthy, thank you so much for visiting and sharing my home. It's time to go now, but thank you so much, and hope to see you soon.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.